Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to my review. This time is of the SH Figuarts Superman from Justice League. So, let's get started. Uh, I don't know what to think of this figure because it's one of those I'm really in between. It visually looks great. There are minor gripes, but it doesn't wow me. But, you know how I am. If I like things, I like it. And I can find the best I can do out of it. So, let's get started on this review. Real quick, I want to talk about how it looks like Henry Cavill, but they're just a minor grievance with the, I guess his hairline. You know, it's one of those things where it looks a little too round and a little too it's not organic. It doesn't look natural because of the folded hair. It just doesn't look like it for me. But all in all, I'm overall really enjoying the figure. Again, like I said, minor gripes, and the first thing I want to start with is the head sculpt. The head looks good. It does. I just think that the forehead is a little too big. But overall, I think it's captured pretty well of Henry Cavill. No mustache gate here going on. No problems, no issues. It's just a little too big of a forehead. Now, the head itself can actually look up for Superman poses, and that's why the neck is actually so long. It's one of the things that bothered me. I'm like, why is his neck so long? And that's because if you want to get flight poses, you got to, well, they had to figure out a way to do it, and they engineered it so that the neck would be long. Because the head can look up, it can look down for flying down poses, it can tilt left to right. So it has all the articulation that would be needed in a Superman, so it's pretty much rounded up really well. Now, as far as arm articulation goes, Superman actually gets a really good range. So as you can see, I was able to do that very easily. I'm able to rotate it all the way around. There's a secret bicep swivel, and I know everybody wants the bicep cut, but this one actually does a very good job of getting Superman to actually pose very well. There's a forearm swivel as well, so you can rotate it all the way around, and it's double jointed. So you actually have a great time using the articulation here. This is one of those things where it's actually hidden very well on Superman, where I didn't know where his articulation would be coming from, but all in all, it ended up being pretty well. Now, let me try to figure out a way to master it up. There we go. So that it looks good. So even standing here, depending on how you pose Superman, where if you want to hide the bicep muscle, you totally can. So you can find various different ways to enjoy the Superman. Now, as far as upper torso articulation, Superman can fold it backwards. He can go not very far forward with the upper ab crunch, but he can rotate left and right. So that way you can actually get a decent range of articulation for the Superman. While not wowed at it, the more I play with it now, the more I'm like, you know what? This is actually a really good figure, articulation-wise and sculpt-wise. It may fall short in some areas, but all in all, it's really nice. Now, as far as leg articulation, there is a thigh cut that allows you to rotate it left and right. There's a drop-down leg method, and Superman's legs are double jointed. There's ankle pivot as well, and a toe pivot. Now, my toe pivot is really, really tough, so I'm going to be careful with that. And that's one of the things on the Mafic that had an issue was my toe pivot, whereas here, I'm simply just not having that issue. So look, I want to get into a classic and generic very Superman pose, and I don't have too much of an issue getting it. Just doesn't look complete. Oh, there we go. Now we're looking quite Supermanish. Now, the cape is not completely wide in the areas that I'd like, and I'm going to touch on that in a second, but it is wired. So it's one of those things where you have to take it or leave it how you get it, but you can easily get into a Superman pose and look like Superman. So while I thought initially I wasn't going to like this figure, especially because I love the Mafex one a lot, this one has actually done really well. The more I play with it, the more I'm like, you know what? This is a very good Superman figure. I like the detail. I like the metallic blue on the suit. I really like the look of it. Now, I think my only gripe is the super long neck, but its functionality and the reason why it's there is actually perfect. So I can't really get mad at that. So it's just one of those things that's my personal opinion. I don't like the long neck, but it functions excellently. The only thing I don't like is his cape. Now, the cape for me is one of those things where it should have been wired along the sides as well as the back, but they only wired the bottom portion of it. So you see the cape is curling up. But it does have a really great extension. The cape can go really far out. So maybe I'll find somebody to wire it and then make this the perfect Superman. So we'll see. All in all, I love the look. I love the dark blue hue. I love the metallic sheen of it. Just, minor things. Now, what Superman comes with is very lacking because Superman actually doesn't do much. So as far as hand accessories, Superman just gets open palmed hands. These are to relax or to lift things up or to make it look like he's lifting things with his immense strength. And then we have hands for actually opening, clawing, kind of just looking menacing hands. Now, the thing about these hands is they go with his secondary head, which to me, I still don't understand why they included it, because this head is absolute nightmare fuel for some people, especially if you're a Superman fan. I know this is supposed to be his laser beam. Oh, sorry, no. His heat vision eyes. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of all other superpowers. But his heat vision eyes. And the thing about it is that it looks terrifying. It looks like it made Superman into a parademon. I don't like the way that the teeth were painted. I don't like how the sculpt actually looks a little bit even more terrifying than his normal face. And the reason why I say that is because it's painted in a hue where it's literally him powering up his heat vision to look like he's murdering you. This is great for an Injustice Superman, which we should have gotten on the Injustice Superman. But for this Superman, I feel like we should have gotten a better heat vision face. Or any other face for that matter. But this is what we got. And if you want to make Superman evil, this is definitely the head for it. So just keep that in mind. All in all, as far as an SH Figuarts figure, I think it was pretty much nailed. It just doesn't look like it visually, but playing with this toy is actually really, really nice. Height-wise, for an SHF, it fits in with SHF stuff. Along with other scales, not so much. So he's a little bit on the smaller side. And we're going to get to that now with the size comparison. So real quick, I'm going to compare him to his Justice League counterparts from SHF. Here we have with Batman, and this is the unmodded Batman that I have. I do have a modded one with the higher up torso. So as you can see here, he's a little bit taller than the Batman. Here he is next to the SHF Flash. So they actually look really good together. And next up we have the SHF Wonder Woman, who she is actually in scale with them very well. Now I'm going to move Batman over slightly. Hopefully he doesn't topple over. This diorama is a little different for me, so I'm trying something new. Shout out to my boy Soul Gear for that as well, because you got me this dio and it's amazing. So I appreciate you for that. So as you can see, scale-wise, they're all about the same scale. Flash's head is actually really big. He's actually not taller than Superman. It's just his head is really big. But yeah, all in all, they look great together. But I know you guys are asking the burning question, how does he compare to the Mafic one? So here he is next to the Mafic Superman, where Mafic seems to be more in scale with the American counterpart. Because as you can see there, Superman is taller, it's more muscular. And even though this one is muscular, this one kind of puts him to shame in that sense. But he is a lighter blue. His sculpt is a lot paler and not more tannish. And he's at different sets of articulation. His cloth cape is better, but all in all, I think if you had to choose between the two, either one will do you just fine. It's one of those things where I actually like both a lot. But, you know, it's one of those things, if you had to choose, people are going to have preferences, and that's totally fine. So I thought I would like the Mafic one more. I'm going to be completely honest with you, but I ended up liking them both equally. Different things, and, you know, we'll see what happens. But next up, I'm going to compare him to his Justice League counterpart from Mafic, which is Flash. And like I said, it seems like the Mafic stuff is made to scale easily more with the American stuff. As you can see, he's a tad bit taller than Superman. But it seems like you should be able to mix and match them very well, especially considering that the Mafic Batman is a superior one, in my opinion. But the Batman seems to be a tad bit bigger. Let's move Flash out of the way. Yeah, Batman seems to be a bit bigger. So you can't mix and match these two without doing some little finicking with the camera. All in all, though, I like them both. I'm definitely going to end up keeping both lines now. Definitely. I was going to pick one, but I'm going to end up keeping both. Here he is next to a Marvel Legends Iron Fist. And as you can see, SHF is trying to scale their stuff a little better to work with other scales. And he doesn't look too out of scale with the Marvel Legends stuff, so that's pretty good. Here he is next to a Mezco Punisher, which Mezco seems a little big because they have true American superhero proportions. Here he is next to an SHF Kamen Rider. Kamen Rider Gem. So as you can see, he's bigger than a normal SHF. The hair kind of gives him away on that one, but last but not least, oh, not even last, but not least either, an Articulated Icons Ninja. So he definitely, well, the Ninja's actually scale real with just about everything. And then last but not least, we have the 1000 Toys Carb. So if you have some Lex Luthor robots going on, this is definitely the thing for you. So as you can see, he scales pretty well with just about everything, including Mafic stuff with the exception of Batman. He actually looks good and he functions very well too. This is one of those things where easily picking and choosing one is not going to be easy, because this is going to be a matter of preference and how you feel, and if you have the skill to mod things. So if you have that. But I have none of those skills, so that's why I buy all the stuff. But in the meantime, it's one of those things where as we go further along the lines, I know people are going to have to choose, and some people can't. So if you like SHF and you like sticking with the Bandai stuff, this is fine. If you like sticking with the Mafic stuff, it's fine. If you like to mix it up, that's also fine. This is one of those surprise enjoyments of these figures that I really, really enjoy. And this is why I like getting figures in hand and talking about them as opposed to jumping to conclusions beforehand. But in the meantime, guys, I hope you found this informative. Hope you enjoyed. In the meantime, I hope you do good, be good, drink your water. Later.